Ahead of United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres' visit to Moscow on Tuesday, the fight is still continuing between Russia and Ukraine. A high-ranking Russian officer says Russia hopes to secure hundreds of miles of Ukraine's south coast, creating a land bridge from the eastern regions to Crimea and even further west. Ukraine's defense ministry says that that shows the goal of the second phase of war is not victory over the mythical Nazis, but simply the occupation of the eastern and southern Ukraine. Stuart Smith reports from Moscow.
Unusually, this news doesn't come from the Russian Ministry of Defense itself, which has been keeping a tight hold on information about Russia's special military operation in Ukraine, as it's known here. This came from the deputy commander of the Central Military District, a major general who was speaking to the defense industry in one of Russia's eastern regions. Now, he said at this meeting, and it's not been confirmed by the MOD here, but he said that the operation is not just about so-called liberating the eastern parts of Ukraine. It's also about creating a land bridge from those regions to Crimea, the peninsula Russia annexed in 2014. And more than that, it's about continuing right along the south coast to the west of Ukraine, to Transnistria, a breakaway region of Moldova that's pro-Russia and has more than 1,000 Russian peacekeepers already stationed there. This commander said that would also mean Ukraine is cut off from the sea. It wouldn't have access to its Black Sea ports, and that would affect Ukraine's ability to export its agricultural and metal products out of the country, further harming its economy. And it's unusual for such statements to be made because the Russian Ministry of Defense usually only focuses either on the day-to-day minutiae of operations, like how many missiles have been fired at Ukrainian military targets, or the grand strategy, the grand purpose of the operation, which is, as they say, to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine. So it's not clear whether this is truly an official statement, but it's certainly being reported in Russian state media. Also on Friday, we heard from the Russian President Vladimir Putin that the fighters at the Azovstal plant in Ukraine, where the last fighting remained until very recently in the port city of Mariupol, they will be able to leave, he says, quite simply by flying white flags, that they can surrender at any point and Russia will facilitate them coming out. Soldiers, civilians, whoever's there can come out and join humanitarian corridors. That as a regime of silence will be implemented if they make that signal. It came after EU President Charles Michel asked President Putin for better and more consistent and extra humanitarian corridors from the city of Mariupol, after the president said it had been, quote, liberated from Ukrainian forces earlier in the week. Stuart Smith, SABC News, Moscow.